welcome back to my channel. This is Are the Booktok Books Worth It? Part 2. This is the young adult version. So obviously there is a whole lot of young adult books that I still have not read yet, but I have read several of Booktok famous books, and so I'm going to talk about the ones that I have read and tell you if they are worth it or not. So let's go. The first book is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and this book, I enjoyed it. I do think it's worth it. It's kind of like, you can see the writing on the wall, like you can see all the warning signs, but still the Darkling. I know a lot of people probably hate him, but man, he was a good villain. That's all I gotta say. Especially with Ben Barnes as him now. Whew! I'd be bad for him, that's all. I'm so bad. Anyway, yeah, so Shadow and Bone. I really did enjoy this book and the series. I still have not read Six of Crows yet. I tried starting it last year around this time. I got like 70 pages in and couldn't get into it. But it might have just been that I wasn't in the mood for it. So I am going to try it again, so we shall see. But anyway, yes, I do think Shadow and Bone's worth it. It is a fun world full of magic and all sorts of betrayal, and yeah, it was just a gripping book, and I did really get into the series, and just I was very invested in the Darkling. The first book is a little bit slower than the other two. The other two pick up some action, but book one, it starts out with like her having to go to the special Darkling Academy to train her powers that she didn't know she has. So yes, I enjoyed it. It's worth it. I know some of you guys may disagree, and that is cool, but I liked it. The next Booktok young adult book that I want to talk about is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. I really enjoyed this book. I actually started this book back when I first started getting back into reading, and I borrowed it from the library and literally read it in like 6 hours or so. This is one of those books that I stayed up all night to read. So my opinion may change if I was to reread it, but all I remember is really enjoying it. I was hooked to the mystery and the plot, and I really wanted to find out what happened. And at the end I was like, whoa, where did that come from? That was out of left field, but I liked it. So yeah, I think this book is worth it. And I haven't seen the TV show, but I do think the book is worth it. The next book I want to talk about is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. And this book was not worth it to me. I'm sorry if you enjoyed this book. I really am. But I don't know. It just dragged for me. Everybody talks about how like hot Wrath is and everything, but I wasn't looking for Wrath. I was looking for a way out. This book was just super slow and not a lot happened, and it was very confusing. And then I know the second book and third book are supposed to get like spicier and supposed to amp up the drama or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm invested enough to continue, because I really did not like this book at all. It just did not do it for me. I mean, it's a cool plot. I mean, you have these two twin sisters, and one of them gets murdered, and so the sister is conjuring up all these demons to try to find out what she was doing. And yeah, I mean, it's a cool enough plot, but I don't know. It was just boring to me, and I didn't really like it. So anyway, but that's my opinion. Another popular book is Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I read this book ages ago. It's been like 3 or 4 years, and I remember enjoying it a whole lot. It's like this dystopian, well, futuristic, I should say, futuristic Cinderella story, and she has a metal leg. And anyway, I've never continued the story, but the first book was worth it for me. So I mean, I really enjoyed it. I can't say too much about it. I just remember there being like a little robot, and then the book's kind of brutal because somebody dies. I'm not going to say who, but somebody like you didn't think would died, and it was like really sad. So anyway, but yeah, I did enjoy this book, and I think it's worth it. You know, form your own opinions. I know they have the new covers and they're all pretty and artworky, but yeah, anyway, I enjoyed this book. Another popular book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmer, and yeah, I like this book. Book 2, we don't talk about book 2. Like, I just wanted to punch Gray and what's his face in the face? What's his face? What's her name? Ren. How could I forget Ren? Anyway, I just wanted to punch Ren and Gray in the face and lock them in a room and tell them to kiss and make up, because oh my gosh, the stupid drama in that book. Ooh, I was like, I read it in a day, like coming home from an event, and oh my gosh, I was so pissed at the characters. I was like, no, you can't do this. This is so stupid. Anyway, that's a story for another day. I could do a whole rant review on that book. But book 1 was so much fun. I did enjoy it. It's totally worth it. It is like a, whatchamacallit, a Beauty and the Beast retelling, where the man, if he doesn't find his true love at the end of a season, he becomes a monster and terrorizes the village surrounding like his castle. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it. The romance in it's super good, and I really like the representation for cerebral palsy. So yeah, that was really nicely added in here. So, but book 2, we don't talk about book 2. I almost didn't read book 3 just because of book 2, but I needed to see how it ended, and I'm glad I did because book 3 at least redeemed people in my eyes. But I still want to smack those 2 characters, and yes, I'm very passionate about this. This was one of the series that I started to read when I first got back into reading, so I don't know, it just holds like a special place in my heart. Another book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book is obviously worth it to me. I loved this book. I think it was super fun. I liked the mystery in it, the podcast elements. I really like it when books incorporate like media into them. I don't know, it just keeps me entertained. But book 2 was also fantastic. And then book 3, just like A Curse So Dark and Lonely, we don't talk about book 3, book 2 in that case, but book 3 in this one. Oh my gosh, book 3 was good for the first half, and then a certain plot twist happens, and I just wanted to burn the book. Like I wanted to throw it outside, throw it into a fire, and burn it. Gosh, the decision was so stupid, and then the lengths that they go to cover up that decision. Ooh, I should do like rant reviews for these books because I am so passionate about them. But anyway, yeah. I just pretend that the third or the second half of book 3 didn't exist, and if I was a fan fiction writer, I could write my own ending and life would be so much better. But gosh, that pissed me off on that book. Anyway, we're talking about book 1. So yes, book 1 is so much fun. It is about this girl who is trying to uncover an unsolved mystery, or well, it's solved to the townspeople, but it's unsolved for her. Unsolved mystery in her town, and she goes to a lot of people, interviews them, but somebody finds out that she's investigating and don't like the questions that she's asking, and so she starts getting threats and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, there's a scene in this book that absolutely broke my heart, and I was like, how dare you, author, how dare you. Totally worth it in my eyes. Another book is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir, and oh my gosh, this book came highly recommended from one of my friends, and she said it was such a great series. I picked it up when book 3 had just come out, so book 4 wasn't out yet. And gosh, this book was just fantastic. There's a lot of heavy subjects in it, but it is the most like mature young adult book I have ever seen, like ever. Like I really like this book so much. The fantasy elements in it are fantastic. There's magic systems. This book has 4 books in the series, and all of the books are fantastic. I don't have a bad thing to say about any of them. I really liked all the culture blended into these books, and the love story is just fantastic. So seriously, these books are totally worth the hype. Even if they're not the most hyped books out there on Instagram or Booktok, they should be, because these books are fantastic. I will die on that hill. All right, another Booktok book is The Cruel Prince, and if you don't know what The Cruel Prince is about, then you've been hiding under a rock, but this is by Holly Black, and this book is fantastic. Like book 1's meh, and then book 2 and 3 are fire. I really enjoyed this series. I mean, for the sole aspect of Carden. Like when I first started reading this book, I was like, oh heck no, there ain't no way I'm gonna fall for Carden, and by the end of this book I was like, hey baby, what's up? So I really enjoyed this book. The story starts out with Jude and her twin sister. They're living with their mother and father in the mortal land, and the fairy prince comes and kills both their father and mother. So it opens up very brutally, but the fairy prince comes and kills their father and mother and takes them back to fairyland. He's not their father, but he is the father of their half-sister that their mother had, because their mother was like their queen or whatever, their mortal queen. Yeah. And she ran away with this dude. Anyway, but it follows these two sisters as they try to live as humans in fairyland, and Taryn just goes with it. Jude tries to adapt, and she wants to kill everybody, and she's so stabby, and I love it. So yes, very fun book, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I just love seeing Carden. So okay, next book is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan, and this is another fairy book, and yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. A little overhyped, yeah. I actually did this book as a buddy read with one of my Bookstagram friends at Tiff's Book Journey. Go check her out, she's awesome. But yeah, we did a buddy read, and reading this together with her was just fantastic. I think it made me like the book even more than if I was just to have read it on my own. It follows this girl, her sister gets kidnapped, and she's trying to do everything in her power to get her back. So this evil fairy dude is trying to get her to commit all these little crimes, like steal this, get me that, find this for me, and then I'll give you your sister back. And so she's infiltrating the court and trying to woo the prince so she can get these things and save her sister. So yeah, it's a really fun story. Book 2 kind of ignited some things inside of me. Like, I wanted to punch somebody in the face a lot in book 2. Book 2 was a little overhyped to me, but book 1 was a lot of fun, and I found myself enjoying it. The Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Of course it's worth it. I guess you can kind of consider this middle grade, but just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna call it young adult right now because this is my young adult video. Book's totally worth it in my eyes. This book defined my love of reading, and I love this book so much. It's about a boy who figures out that he is a demigod, and he has to go on an adventure or a quest to save the world. And yeah, every book is just so much more fun. You get to see so much more of the Greek mythology. This book made me fall in love with Greek mythology. Yeah, I actually did a little bit of a reread. I read like the first 3 books over again, and they were just so much fun. So yeah, seriously, check out these books if you haven't, or if you think you're too old, get them for your kids and read them with it, and it'll be perfect. And yeah, anyway, I cannot wait for the TV show. So the next book is Fable by Adrienne Young, and I don't know, this book, I don't think it's worth it to me. I mean, yes, it's a fun book about pirates and adventure, but I don't know, there just wasn't a lot of plot in it for me. I know there's things that happen that move the plot a little bit forward, but I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. I did read book 2 just because, and it was okay. I still don't know how she really likes Wes when he was threatening children. Anyway, a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But these books were just okay to me. I actually like her series, A Sky in the Deep, better. Just because I don't know if it's just because I read it first, but it was like a whole lot more involved. I didn't like book 2. Like, I couldn't even get past like the first couple chapters in book 2. Maybe it was because I read them so far apart and I was just lost on the name. Is it a good book? Yes. But is it a very entertaining book and my favorite? No. So not worth it, unfortunately. I'm sorry if you like it. And the last book I am going to talk about today is The Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. And I also did a buddy read with Tiff's Book Journey with this book, and man, it was so much fun. I think I liked it more again if I had read it by myself. Like, reading it with her just made it so much more fun. But this book follows a girl who, like, books can talk in this book, and she has like magical powers, and yeah, she just goes on an adventure to save the world like most of them do. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I really liked Silas. Silas, how you doing? And yeah, I really liked the romance in it. I think they're coming out with like a little short novella to go along with this book, so I'm going to be checking that out. Yeah, this book was a whole lot of fun. I know I did a horrible job describing it. It's been a little while, been about a year since I've read it, but it was fun, and yeah, you should totally check it out. I think it's worth it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know if you agree with my rankings, if you agree with if is it worth it or is it not. As always, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. It means so much to me, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.